What if the biggest bottleneck in your construction company is you? Not your team, not the subcontractors, not even the clients, you. Hi, my name is Joel Lipsky. I'm a construction business owner, advocate, and educator. I've been doing nothing but construction for the past 20 years, and I'm here to help you grow your construction company. If you like what you hear, like, share, subscribe. Let's jump right into it. A lot of people ask, why did you start virtual construction assistance? I started because at one point I was the choke point. I had to review every estimate, manage every submittal, write every contract. Every decision needed my guidance. Every problem needed my effort. I thought that working harder was the answer. Waking up earlier to get in the office first, working later, putting in the hours on the weekends just to be able to catch up and stay afloat. But I realized no matter how many hours I actually put in, I could not keep up and I certainly could not grow. And if I'm being honest, it was starting to compromise my mental health. It took me a while, but I realized something that changed everything. I didn't need more effort. I needed help. But here was the problem. The help I needed, I simply could not afford. The numbers didn't work. It would inflate my overhead. And at that stage of the company growth, we weren't at that point. And that's when I discovered virtual assistant support. By bringing in virtual assistants trained specifically in construction workflows and tasks, it changed everything. They handled my estimating support, project coordination, submittal management, insurance management, and other clerical administrative things that were somehow on my shoulders to do. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't drowning, I was growing. And because it worked for me and my construction business, I started sharing it with friends in the industry, other general contractors, other subcontractors, and trade contractors. I helped them implement the same virtual assistant model that worked for me. And that's when I realized this isn't just a fix for my company. There's a service here. There's a real need in this industry, and I can help other construction business owners. They don't struggle because they can't build. They struggle because they're carrying too much weight. Virtual construction assistance was built to remove that weight, not to replace leadership, but to support that leadership. Because when the owner stops being the choke point, the company finally has room to grow. And that's what happened to me. Once I started putting the virtual assistants into play and multiplying that business model, I was finally out of the day-to-day tasks and I was focused more on growing my business. At one point, one of my subcontractors, specifically a flooring subcontractor, I called him and I said, "Hey man, I'm trying to put this bid together and the only number that I still need is the flooring number." And his response was, "I am not going to get this to you on time. Just put the number in without me." And I got really, really upset with this. I spent the last 2 weeks compiling all of my subcontractor trades, going to the walkthrough, putting in the time and effort to put this bid together, only to be hosed by this flooring contractor that wasn't able to produce his number to me for me to complete my bid. So I asked him, and he was a friend of mine, "What's going on? Like, why are you not able to do this?" And his response was like every other contractor I've dealt with and helped over the years. "I simply don't have the time right now to put together the estimate." He's trying to do it at the dinner table over spaghetti while he's trying to do math homework with his kids and growing his business by the day on the job site. He simply was just burnt out. And that's where my first integration of a virtual assistant into a trade contractor took place. My response was like, "Hey man, I'm using this business model using virtual assistants. Why don't I help you with the same thing?" And through that one interaction, I was able to find an assistant for him, a virtual assistant. And I was able to bring that virtual assistant into his flooring company, allowing him to now not spend so much time on the estimates, but more time growing his business, delegating out some of the estimating roles to support him. And how did that benefit me as a general contractor? I now got better numbers from him. I got proposals from him in a much more efficient and timely manner. He was able to multiply his effort and put his personal time into other things to help his company grow. And once that light bulb went off with him, it was like, click, got it. So I can do this for other areas of my flooring business. And my response was, yes, you can. And once I realized that I can help out my friend with his flooring company by integrating a virtual assistant into his estimating team, I then realized that I have a business here and I have a service that I can actually help other contractors with, similar to the flooring contractor, and similar to the one like my general contracting firm. I simply just took a different idea that other people were not using and integrated it into my construction company. And then from that idea, it grew into a company where I'm able to place hundreds of virtual assistants to date for hundreds of clients throughout the United States, Australia, and even Canada. This is not a new concept. This is a concept that's just being underutilized, especially in the construction industry. Construction industry in general is so far behind other industries. We're a bunch of dinosaurs. We're usually the last to integrate technology, and we're usually the last to think of a good idea and integrate that into our company. So by
For
educating
experienced
our
people and
clients
those
about
in
this type
small
of
industry,
service, which is not new, I am able to provide a valued service so that these companies are able to then grow and multiply and spend their time and effort in other areas while we're supporting their key personnel. Nothing is worse than the drain of feeling like you're behind. Nothing is worse when you have to come into the office and you have 50 things to do that day and you can't even prioritize one or two things because they're all important. The best reward that I can get is when a client from Virtual Construction Assistance calls me back and was like, you have changed my life. Not only do I appreciate it, my wife appreciates it because now I'm able to give more time to even them, and I'm able to give more time to growing the company to where I want it to be. So from this idea of helping myself and helping my one flooring contractor is how virtual construction assistance started.